Are you all good before we get started?
I am. It's just you and I today?
There's the two of us.
I'm okay with that. I was like, what am I going to do with all these people, all the bros?
All the
So,
bros. Hi, Nneka. I am Mitch, the creator and editor of Brough Chat. I'm so excited to talk to you.
thank you for having me, Mitch.
So, before we talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, I want to get to know you a bit better. You are launching a sparkling wine.
Yes, sparkling wine collection.
So, what details can you share with us before the product becomes available?
Well, first of all, I love bubbles. I love champagne, and I wanted to have a product that was affordable for everyone because champagne can be pretty expensive. Usually on the cheaper end, a bottle of champagne is about $40. So I wanted something that would be really delicious, taste like champagne, and can be celebratory like champagne, but not break the bank, and so every household could afford it. So I went with sparkling wine. So it's in production right now, and I'll have some announcements coming out soon. But I have to tell you, it is amazing. It is delicious, and I think in one of the episodes, I can't remember which episode, all the ladies got to test it, and it was amazing. Like some of them were taking
Nice.
bottles home. I'm a lawyer by trade for a prominent fintech company, but the lawyer hat is just one of the many hats that I wear. Bidot is a sparkling wine collection. I love champagne, I love bubbles, and I'm making high quality sparkling wine that tastes like champagne. Not made in Champagne, France, but everyone can afford it.
You're also the CEO and founder of Hello Africa, a
Yes.
dating app that connects the African diaspora. What got you involved in wanting to even create a dating app?
Yeah, so I'm a people person. I'm super social and I'm really big on community. And growing up in Wisconsin, I originally was raised in the Midwest, but very natively Nigerian. As my parents were immigrants, Nigerian immigrants, they raised us very traditionally Nigerian in the Midwest. And growing up as a Nigerian, it was really hard to find other Nigerians to interact with and to date and build community with. And when I moved to Los Angeles after I finished law school, I found that problem to still exist. And I went online, I Googled, and I was like, African dating apps or African events, just to kind of figure out, okay, where's the local Nigerian restaurant or where events are going on or like what men are available. And that wasn't available. So I called my cousin, who was like the techie in our family. And I was like, I want to create this app called Hello Africa. And essentially, it allows Africans in diaspora to connect with each other, whether it's locally or if you're, for instance, going to be in New York next week, you want to see what events are going on, what restaurants or what people are there, and also networking also for employment. So I wanted to have a platform where we could look out for each other.
Right, because your background is in law. So I was
Yes.
thinking, so Nneka's background is in law, and I know you've worked with television with Michigan University with eBuzz. And I was like, how does she
Wait, how do you know that? You did some good research. You digging up the old
ah,
skeletons, honey.
and I'm like, how does she go about uh, figuring out the technical aspects with the coding, with creating a dating app, but you use your cousin as a resource?
Honey, I used my cousin and I used a lot of dollar bills to hire the right people.
So, Nneka, I saw your a clip of your wedding. So I saw that your dad gifted you with a $250,000 G wagon,
What is wrong with
and
people?
and you had a performance from Tiwa Savage at
Yeah.
your wedding. What was that whole night like? And were there any other surprises that we may want to know? Share with us?
So a lot of people, there's a misconception, right? So I was upset about how some of the things came about because I was in Los Angeles planning this wedding. And at the time, I was also in trial on a large class action lawsuit. So I wasn't really monitoring everything as closely because I was monitoring this damn lawsuit, So
Right.
I made some comments on the TV that I wasn't satisfied with all the details of my wedding, and I wasn't. But I was satisfied with my vehicle. I was satisfied with the love and support. And Tiwa Savage pulled up and performed. Everyone went crazy. It was really a magical and special evening. There weren't any other surprises that I can remember. Watch, I get a bunch of text messages and be like, "Oh, you forgot about this, and that." But it was at the Watergate, which is like 5-star, top notch. The infamous Watergate, and it was just a really immaculate and beautiful reception. We had a great time. And top shelf beverages. Like I had to have the top shelf beverages flowing. You can't have cheap drinks at my wedding. You cannot.
No, no. Your freshman season has wrapped, the reunion has wrapped. I know there are hours of
Mhm.
filming for a single scene that we see. Were there any scenes that when you were looking at the show, you're like, dang, I wish the viewers could have seen this?
I would say there was tons of scenes that I wish you guys could have seen, even to kind of make sense of some of the issues that took place. I think some context was really lost. And, for instance, in pickleball, there was a lot of things that transpired before you saw my blow up, right? But all you guys saw was a blow up and not what transpired that initially what led me to be that frustrated. There was some scenes with my family for sure. There was some more of my IUI and doctor scenes. And, specifically, I had a family barbecue that, my family flew into town. There was 4th of July weekend. Giselle and Charisse were there. My local friends from the DMV. We had a bar, I had a barbecue. I had, it was like we're grilling suya on the deck and like barbecue and like Nigerian food. And my parents were in town too. So you guys would have got to see my parents. And it was really nice because a specific moment, Giselle and Charisse were talking to my mom about like how she feels about me, having infertility issues and the IUI procedure I'm going through. And my mom was kind of explaining some of the cultural aspects of it and, the stigma attached to it. And I think some of the scenes that you guys could have, some of the information that you guys could have learned from that scene would have tied a lot of things together. And, also there were some celebratory events for my sparkling wine that wasn't shown. There was just, a lot of things, but I understand there's a lot of us and
Yeah.
there were other things from other people that was cut as well. But I think considering, the season that I had and me being new, I think it was important for the viewers to see kind of personal touches to understand me and my family and like my background and what I'm going through.
Yes. I want to talk about pickleball, but I also want to talk about something else you just mentioned about your um so on your Instagram, you have pinned a thank you message to viewers because after your fertility episode aired, you received a lot of positivity. What was that reception like when you were reading those messages and you were looking at the response from your supporters?
I was, just floored by how much love I got, primarily because social media is a very nasty place and they can be very judgmental and they're very aggressive at times and insensitive. And I was just really happy that my scene and my story was well received. And I also didn't understand how many people really could relate to what I had gone through and the messages that I received. And even a few people that I, knew from the community were telling me that they had conceived their child from IVF, but, they didn't want to talk about it. They dealt with it internally with just their husband. Like even their parents don't know. And it just caused me a lot of pain to see how many people are keeping this thing under wraps because although I was blessed to be able to share my story with the world, I don't know that I would be able to hold that in and just be dealing with it, just my husband and I, because it has such a large impact on you physically. I gained so much weight during this process with all the hormones and drugs and medication. You're going to the doctor probably every other day to get screened and monitored. And then also it takes a huge toll on your mental health. And I think to just bottle that up and not have an outlet, I really felt for those people who have been just sitting in silence with, their infertility and the journey that they've pursued. But I felt really seen in that moment, considering my season. I felt very seen.
Yeah, it was a definitely an important story for you to share, and I appreciate being able to look in on it. You had such a centerpiece season. Your story was one of the hottest topics of the season. Do you think that Ashley's miscommunication and how she relayed the story all wrong played a significant role in that friction with Dr. Wendy?
I was really mortified when I saw that about what Ashley said because, she did confess to me during the time that she had led Wendy to believe that I brought up the article or I had something to do with the article surfacing. And so she confessed to me and she apologized. So I was aware that that communication had taken place, but it was essentially a lot more than that she said, right? So, it even went on to that she alleged that I had called Wendy Osu and all these things. So I was really hurt by that, because Ashley is a friend of mine, but she has apologized profusely off camera, on camera, everyday life. Anytime it comes up, she really is apologetic for it and didn't understand the sensitivity. But I will say that Ashley making that miscommunication or I guess completely misrepresenting our conversation to Wendy did not cause the issue, but what it did do was cause the pickleball. But I did hear you have a problem with me, so. What?
So how do I have a problem with you when I don't know you?
I'm aware of the phone call that your mom made to my in-law saying that she submitted my name to a shrine. Because had she not made up that lie to her at pickleball, some comments would not have been made that really aggravated me, and I would have proceeded with my plan, which was to just sit her down and just talk to her about the phone calls. But it's not fair to blame it all on Ashley because the phone calls took place well in advance of Ashley's housewarming party, and that's where the issues arose.
Well, the issues with you and Dr. Wendy, they escalated so far as to Dr. Wendy calling you a crackhead. Now, that moment was jarring. Were you able to address that remark at the reunion?
I mean, first of all, it's a lie, right? Defamation is untrue. I've never done any illegal drug in my entire life, and I'm a licensed attorney in 3 jurisdictions. So these type of statements really it damages my reputation, my integrity, the way potential clients can view me, my company can view me. So I really was upset that somebody would go so low and make those type of comments. It was addressed, I would say, at the reunion. The depth of it, was I completely satisfied? No. But at the end of the day, I'm not a crackhead. And it's just unfortunate that someone has to make up such a nasty rumor just to try to offend me because I didn't make up anything about anybody. And I don't have to because the truth is the truth. But to think that someone had to make something up to try to get at me is just baffling.
On Watch What Happens Live, Dr. Wendy called the Shrine allegations xenophobic. What was your reaction when you heard that from Dr. Wendy?
After hearing the crackhead comment, I've just, all of it just over my head. I have no interest. I think it's just unfortunate that there's just more attempts to defame me. And I think it's just part of her plan to just turn the world against me because, it's untrue. I'm just repeating what happened to me. And I'm telling my story to, the girls in the group, sharing my story with her so she can offer an explanation. That's all I ever did. I didn't say anything besides what actually transpired. And I left the floor open for comments and explanations, and I received none.
Your training as an attorney really shined through in a big way, especially during these relationships. One thing that was really interesting to me at the finale, the fight, Dr. Wendy credited you in a positive way during that scene where there was a discussion about what went down. Did you feel connected to her in that moment when she credited you, had a positive observation about you?
I credit the entire group that evening. I think we really came together as a group and as sisters to just figure out what can we do to prevent this from happening again. I'm glad that she did acknowledge my attempt to assist because it was genuine. I didn't like what I was seeing. I wanted to diffuse the situation. I didn't want anyone to fight. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. But I did feel, that it was positive that she did highlight my attempts to kind of diffuse the situation.
Because viewers, I believe, viewers want to see you two come together. And your efforts have been evident at that dinner with not only your words, but your actions. Do you think there's an opportunity for reconciliation, for healing, especially at the reunion?
Thank you. And I'm glad the viewers were able to tell that. I've been very authentic and genuine the entire season, and I continue to operate in that space. But yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell. But on my end, I have really just moved on past everything that transpired, the phone calls, everything, the crackhead. I've moved on past all of that. And I operate generally from a space of grace. And everything that I said and did at the sit down that she and I had was from a genuine place. And I really had an open heart and good intentions on moving forward. And that's still on the table for me. I'm willing to sit down and rehash things if we need to, but it was a really tricky topic. And I know that some viewers were really taken back by the topic of shrines and all that. And, I really feel bad. I'm apologetic that had to air on TV and, especially in Nigerians, because as Nigerian people, we're really prideful of our culture and our customs. And we don't really like to put out that type of negativity. So I completely understand why some viewers really were taken back by the topic. And I was as well. And I was terrified and frightened along with it. And I just was really committed to reality TV. And these are the things that were happening in real life at that time. So the cameras cover it all. But I've moved on. I've moved on from all that.
So it's been confirmed that Candiace is not returning for season 9. What was your reaction when you saw that Candiace has decided to not come back?
I like Candiace. I've always liked Candiace. And, the cameras didn't show our initial interactions, but we've had really genuine and positive interactions from when we first met. I was surprised to see that, she decided to move on for other endeavors, but I'm really confident that she's going to do really well. She's talented. She can sing, she can act. And, I know she wants to be a mother as well. So I think if that's what's best for her and her family to take time off, I'm all for it. But I think she'll be back because she's good TV.
Yeah, I think so too.
We'll see her on our screens in some capacity, whether it's acting or reality TV.
Yes, acting, reality TV, music. We're definitely going to see
Exactly.
more of Candiace. On to Teas in the Pod with Teddy and Tamra.
Yeah.
You were asked about Karen's DUI. Now, Teddy and Tamra, they really put a lot of emphasis on ownership and accountability for Karen.
The problem I have is that she took no accountability.
You got drunk and got in a car and smashed into a tree or whatever.
Your stance was very interesting. You said, let's wait. Let's wait to hear more from Karen. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt and be all ears when she does share more. Do you think it's important to allow Karen the opportunity to share more with us?
Absolutely. I think, honestly, I understand everyone's concern. A DUI is serious and, people get hurt, people lose lives under those circumstances. And I'm grateful to God that she was able to walk out of the car and able to get home safely. And, she's taking care of herself and nobody was injured. But I do think it's important to let us hear from her. Either way, DUI is not, something to be overlooked. And I think it should be addressed and handled properly. And I just want to see what she has to say.
You had a not so nice interaction with Melissa Gorga.
Both of you, which Bravo celebrity was the most dismissive of you at your first Bravocon? Nneka.
Honestly, I hate to say this, but I would say Melissa Gorga wasn't very nice.
Oh, wow.
Was there something that was said, or did Melissa Gorga do something that rubbed you wrong?
Melissa, she's sweet. She sent me a message after seeing that and just apologized. And I responded back to her and I was just saying, thank you for taking the time to even message me to clear it up. But no, so we were at Bravocon and, the housewives were busy, were shuffled everywhere. My husband was talking to her husband, Joe, who's really friendly and he's very fun, chill guy. And she was there with maybe her castmates or friends or whomever. So there was just a group of them talking and I was wrapping up another scenario I had. So I went over to my husband, her husband, she, and whoever else was present. And, I was just trying to greet her because our husbands were engaging in conversation and she just kind of blew me off and I didn't think that was nice. But she apologized and said that she was just scatterbrained and just Bravocon can be crazy and she just was everywhere. And I can understand that because it is a very busy place. And at that time, your focus is on the fans. You want to make sure that they're being attended to and that you're interacting with them. But she was really nice to have reached out.
So you felt dismissed in the moment, but the two of you were able to discuss it.
Yeah, Yeah. She messaged me. We moved on, and she's like, "Next time you're in town, let's grab a drink." And I'll hit her up when I'm in Jersey. Yeah, when I'm in Jersey, I'll hit her up.
That'll be good. During an interview with Gertie from Real Housewives of Miami, Carlos King did say that he was working on developing a VH1 show with you and a few others. But then the next thing he knows, you're on Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes.
I developed a show a couple of years ago based on first generation Africans in Los Angeles. Nneka was a part of my cast. And Nneka is...
And she migrated her way to Potomac.
And this, right.
Did something happen or fall through?
No, I think they just never fully developed it or it never went into production. But no, he's right. I do know of him from LA and he had a production that he was doing, Africans in LA. And I'm really big in community and I love Africans. And, me and some other girlfriends were a part of that production and we were excited about it. That's when I was single. I wasn't a housewife at that time. I was a little bit younger. But no, I had a great time working with him and his team at that time.
I think folks were curious to know what happened there, but it was as simple as that.
Nothing happened at all. And after the reunion, we can chat again because you may hear about some other opportunities that I've had. So you may have some follow-up once you watch the reunion.
All right. Well, I'm excited to talk to you then. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. That might answer a lot of people's questions and people are going to be inquiring.
Well, Nneka, I'm really happy I got a chance to talk to you. Thank you for chatting with me. This was so much fun.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yes, I am so excited to see what's coming up next for you. And you really did have a fantastic first season.
Thank you for saying that. You know, the fandom can be crazy and social media is a whole different beast. You know, nobody properly prepares you for social media. But thank you for your viewership, for supporting the show, and thanks for having me.
No trouble. Okay, we'll talk again coming up soon.
Yes, take care.